please. Whew!
To start things with an awkward clearing of the
casual.
throat.
Oh my god! People are unsubscribed. They're unpatreoning right now.
It's either that or I do a phlegmy, or I'm all phlegmy for the whole throughout the whole recording.
I see you have another giant jug of water in front of you.
Yeah,
no tea this evening, though.
No tea. Tea was earlier.
Well, it's all right. Oh my god, there's so much math going on upstairs right now, and I have no help. I feel so badly.
What grade? What's the math? What is it?
It is algebra.
Oh,
it is sixth grade algebra. That
Get
is
it away.
Way too complicated for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I checked out after fifth grade when I was in school.
You're like, division is like the best, or not division, fractions the farthest.
No, division.
That
was it. Like
All
once,
right.
yeah. I had a hard time with multiplication. So once I finally made it through division, I was like, I don't think math's for me. I'm not doing homework anymore. If I have to take algebra 2 twice in high school, I'll do it. Mm-hmm.
So be it. And nothing, clearly nothing was absorbed. But that's okay.
I was good at geometry. I was good at
the shapes and stuff.
It was very visual, but the problem was that I didn't memorize any of the whatever techniques or whatever you call them in math.
I was going to call them rhythms, but I think
rhythms?
They're formulas.
Right.
Formulas.
Yep. So anyway, I'm great at math. No, but then when geography became too difficult, I didn't know how to solve the problems. Like I would just look and I'd be like, well, that's got to be 48 because, it just looks like it needs to be.
But you didn't go through any of the steps to figure out how and why that would be. And you got to show your work. That's another thing they make you do. Show your work.
Problem of mine. Because that's when they started giving textbooks with the answers in the back, and I was like, "This is fantastic!"
Right, it's right there. Yeah. That was short-lived where they did that. Because come on, what kid isn't going to look even just to check?
Well, again, no. I mean, that's the reason they gave the answers was to check. But my problem was that they had to show the work.
Yeah, the showing the work.
I wasn't doing it. Oh, God, I'm going to be such a As schooling becomes more difficult for my kids, it all comes flooding back to me, and I am not looking forward to 7th grade, 8th, 9th, like all the way up through 12th. I'm like, I can't help you anymore. I can't. It's way too complicated for me.
Well, isn't that what tutors and teachers are for? Isn't that why they shouldn't?
Sure. Why not? I'll keep saying that during parent-teacher conferences. Yeah. Isn't this what you're supposed to do? So welcome to Math Chat, everyone. This is what your Patreon dollars get you. Our new podcast on equations.
Homework. It's our homework podcast. Right. Equations, is that what they are? No, formulas.
No, formulas. You were right. No, don't listen to me.
All right. Shouting math terms.
And we're only padding this because we're talking about a half-hour long.
It's cartoon. Not even. It's like 26 minutes. It barely makes a full half-hour mark.
No, it's not a half hour. And
well, I think with commercials maybe because there is a significant break where a commercial break.
Did you watch commercials during this?
No, but when I was a kid, I think I did.
Well, I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was a thing. So would you like to? Maybe we should start by just talking about Cabbage Patch Kids in that, like, what is your experience with them? Because I know that boys can have Cabbage Patch Kids.
They can?
I did not. My sister had one and one alone.
A single one.
That's it. Like, I knew they were a big deal.
Yeah.
Was there a cartoon?
That's what I was trying to remember because I and I looked it up. I don't think there was. Okay. I think that all of this information that was laid out, like all these extra characters, like I was like, did I know these, like the stork and all these characters from a cartoon? I don't think so. I think it was just this movie. Oh, I could be wrong about that.
That is so weird. Though,
I know it is weird that. But then they did have
like that older boy, like, oh, here's a boy who's slightly older than us. One day,
Xavier Roberts.
Yeah, he just happened upon the Cabbage Patch, so he's here now.
Xavier Roberts is the creator of Cabbage Patch Kids.
What?
Yeah. So what I knew before. Okay, I also did some research before this that I didn't know about the Cabbage Patch Kids.
This is
so
great because
my childhood experience with the Cabbage Patch Kids was, yes, we had one. I think we got them like the year it was big. I remember my mom, when we were kids, she was all for she was a great mom, and so she was all for if it was the toy to get, she wanted to get it, kind of thing. And so we definitely had, my sister and I had. I think we had like 2 or 3, maybe not. Maybe we just. I definitely had one with blonde hair. My sister had a baby one. And then I feel like, because there were variations of them that they made throughout the years. Okay. And some of them were kind of knockoff Cabbage Patch Kids. So I think we had other ones in our collection. But the first ones we got the first years were like, those were our Cabbage Patch Kids. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
And they did.
So like you can get American Girl dolls that are made by Target that are like $20 as opposed to $120.
Right. Exactly. Okay, exactly. So, but the Cabbage Patch Kid dolls, I remember they came with a name. Like my name is, I think mine was
like a birth
Christy.
certificate.
Yes, because that was the thing that I guess was this creator's thing, was that you didn't buy a doll from him, you adopted a doll from him. When he first started in his doll making ways.
It's ingenious. I mean, it's very smart marketing. It's super cute. I get it.
Oh yeah, on their little tushes, on the dolls' tushes, was his name, Xavier Roberts.
Yes,
he signed their tushes, which is kind of creepy when you think about it. That it was on their butts, like put it on the foot or on the back of the. Right. I don't know.
You're branding these children, saying, "This is mine. If it gets loose, return it to me."
Right.
This comes from my Cabbage Patch, not yours. Let's check the brand.
Right.
Okay. So you had girl Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yes.
Okay. You didn't have any of the boys, because I was very confused by the boys. Why is the one dressed as a military general and the other one just is dressed like a cowboy? What is this?
So I think that some of the background of the characters and even the place, like where it takes place in the mountain, or the Cabbage Patch is in the mountains of Georgia, right? And
I was transported back to the Smoky Mountains because they're in a cabin. Because
they're even in the cabin.
At the end, they're celebrating Christmas in a cabin. I wanted Dolly Parton to show up.
You just wanted her to guitar her way in and be like,
I wanted one to
and they're little orphan children crawl into a drawer. Yeah, so Xavier Roberts was from, I think, the Georgia, the Appalachian area kind of thing. So he, I guess that's why, like the first of the stores, like his little first shop that sold the Cabbage Patch Kids dolls was based out of somewhere in Georgia.
Well, I have a lot of questions about that, because I love how in the beginning we do see that they're clearly in Georgia.
Yeah.
The stork tells us this. So I was like,
oh, yeah,
this is totally grounded in reality now.
Yeah.
There is no way it snows this much in Atlanta, Georgia, right? Like,
they're outside.
No way.
They are outside of Atlanta, I guess, up in the mountains.
No, but they go to the big city.
Oh,
and the city is Atlanta.
Yeah, you're right.
And then
they do get a big snowfall at the park. Yeah.
Yeah, they go to park that's in Atlanta, and there's like 8 feet of snow.
And it is a real park. Piedmont Park is a real park in Atlanta. Yes. Yeah.
And that's what confused me. I did not know this was grounded in reality at all. I thought it was like just, we're not going to be in the United States. We're just here.
We're in like the Cabbage Patch area.
Like, yeah. Just random. Like, I don't know. I was so surprised. I was shocked by that. But now that I know that, this guy is so
connected,
tied in, and he's like, listen, this is my creation. This is where I open my store. I'm from Georgia, so this is where this movie, let's call it, is going to take place. It makes sense, but not when I was watching it.
No, when I read some of the history stuff, I was like, oh, wow, Cabbage Patch Kids. I got deep for a minute. But anyway, I'll splash some of the facts that I learned throughout.
Okay. Good.
I think you'll enjoy them.
You might be able to answer some of my questions but why do they grow old? Like,
no.
They grow
up? No.
So,
that's why they couldn't be. Although the one is adopted,
born at the beginning of this, and later on you see that it's still a baby, but it at least has arms and legs, because it's just a head in cabbage at first.
Yeah, it's a weird concept, a really fucked up concept when you think about it. So these bunny bees,
what are those things?
They're what help them to grow. They spread they spread crystals, basically. I don't know if it's crystal meth or what, all over the cabbages.
And this stork, of course the story is told
by the colonel.
The colonel, yeah. He is delivering these lines as though, listen, it's no big deal. You know what bunny bees do. Because he's like, oh yeah, and then there's these bunny bees and flying rabbits that sprinkle crystals, he says.
Yeah,
so I guess fertilize the cabbages or something
to make them grow.
And then one sprouts and it's just a bald head. Just like a disembodied head staring at you.
Yeah, it is more frightening than the Teletubbies for a second. The Teletubbies were freaked. You ever watch that?
No, the Teletubbies are terrifying. This
cabbage head, the children themselves are they're cute little dolls, but the baby head coming out of the head of Cabbage is a bit disturbing. It is.
I don't like the idea of harvesting children either. It's so wrong. And just the fact that it is just a head, and later on I'm like, oh, good. At least it grew a body. And do you pull it out and it's got all its limbs, or does that grow later?
As a kid, I think I just fell into because you're a kid, so you believe these things that are in cartoons and that you see, and that.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. I don't know how many kids were like, oh, this is where babies come from. I guess I grew in a field in Georgia.
No, not all babies, but specifically your Cabbage Patch Kids. These things came to you and you really thought, I remember my first one, I really thought that whoever Xavier Roberts was, he picked this doll, especially for me, and this was my Krista, and I had to take care of her. And
that's adorable.
Yes, and I think that I thought that she was born in a cabbage field.
So you had the blonde one with
the braids, yeah.
Okay, yeah, my sister had that one too. I do like how the Cabbage Patch Kids in the cartoon are drawn like they are in because they meet real children.
Yeah, but they don't
look
they
don't they have that yarn hair.
Yeah.
Because even when the red haired girl's like, we could be sisters, I'm like, I don't know if she ages. This is weird. Plus she has yarn for hair. I don't think you should live with this family.
How about that lady, the family? Okay. So wait, let's get there because we're still at the cabin. So I
want to dig into that couple's lives. I want to know why they can't have
what's
kids.
What's going on, you two?
Why can't you have kids? It's got to be his fault because she is so upset, and he's like,
so sad about it. Yeah.
He's like, whatever.
And he's just dropping his wallet and forgetting about it for the day. Never looks for it again.
I didn't write down any lines for the most part. But I think I wrote down a few from that couple because
because they were.
I want to know what's going on behind closed doors in that place.
Oh.
All right, let's take this journey. Let's take this trip to northern Georgia,
where cabbage babies are being born, with the help of Buddy Bees and Colonel Casey. That's our stork. And there's Otis Lee. Is the one with the hat, the military one.
Okay.
Sybil Sadie, she's the one with the braids. Tyler Bow, he's another one.
You wrote this down. Okay.
He's another one. Rachel Marie, or Ray May, she's one of the black ones. Dawson Glenn.
Oh, that's gotta be that cowboy.
Dawson Glenn's the cowboy.
Yeah.
Cousin Cannon Lee is another one.
And that cowboy, he is a barrel-chested young child. Like, he is a big boy, but big like he's a power lifter or something. Like, their proportions are weird. I know, like, I feel like we just talked about Danny DeVito, and they're all little Danny DeVitos.
Yeah, they do have little tinies. Yeah.
Like, they're squat, and their arms are so big, and their legs are so big.
But that's what their little dolls look like.
Right.
So they had little dimples on their arms and everything.
Yes. And as dolls, they're cute. As, like, cartoon character, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right.
You're uncomfortable with it.
Especially next to this, what'd you call the kid? Sander, whatever? Xavier Roberts. I mean, that kid looks normal. He looks like a string bean. He looks like a normal human. And
so does Jenny when they meet Jenny.
Yeah, but it makes these dolls look even more terrifying next to these actual kids.
Well, it's clear that they're not from around there. Because they live in this cabin, and Xavier has a family somewhere else, but he comes in and kind of checks on them. The stork helps take care of them too, and they live, like you said, sort of this Smoky Mountain life where they live in a cabin minus Dolly Parton.
The Smoky Mountain life.
But the Xavier's told them tales of Christmas and the Christmas spirit, and they want to go see this Christmas spirit. Yeah. So he's
showing them pictures in a book, like in a photo album, and he's like, "This is what a city looks like." One of my favorite parts of this cartoon, and this happens at least 3 times, is when they're all supposed to be in awe of something. So you just hear them all one by one go, "Wow, wow, wow, wow." And it's like the same 3 wows just dubbed over and over and over. It is so ridiculous that they allowed that to just happen. They're not overlaying any of them. It's just clearly, here's this 3-second track, and we're just
going to use
it 4 times.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
All right.
Also, so the stork, is he, like, I guess he then, after the Cabbage Patch Kids are born, the stork is the one that delivers them.
You do know what a stork does, right?
No. I know, but I'm saying in the mythology of, like, your Cabbage Patch Kid was delivered by that stork, right? I mean, I'm not saying he came to your door, but that's what you're told.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But these kids are, I don't want to say prisoners there, but they can't go. Like, they're so happy when their baby's born, but it doesn't seem like they can go with families. Except at the end we see the red-haired one does, but like the rest of them are just there. They're just kids that live at this cabin.
Yeah,
right?
they're the original, I think, the OGs,
if
you will.
Okay, all right. All right, we're not even into this. Like, I thought we'd have a hard time getting to 20 minutes. We're nearly there already, and we haven't even left the cabin yet. I also don't like how the stork knows how many freckles this little red-haired girl has.
Oh, and she's got thousands. She's too little. She's too, like you said, they're very compact little creatures. Yes. She couldn't possibly have that many freckles on her.
She has 1,387 freckles. I'm like, don't say it like that.
Oh, Colonel, what are you talking about the freckles for? Well, all right, so let's get out of the cabin because they eventually leave so they could go see this city that Xavier is telling them the Christmas spirit is at.
The Christmas spirit. That's what they're there to see. And they're arguing early on because the cowboy's like, it's like a ghost. It's like a scary thing.
They're going to go find it, though. But not without, there's got to be bad guys. And in the Cabbage Patch Land, the bad guys are Lavender McDade, Bo Weasel, and the rabbit guy. So there's a giant rabbit, a giant weasel, and then an old lady.
It's so... And they want these children...
To dig in a mine.
To dig in a mine because they're the only ones that they know that are small enough to get in there.
And they are tiny. You've mentioned their stature before.
This makes, again...
So much sense when you realize he's
it
like
makes no sense. What? Wait a second. How does this make any sense?
Because what would you do in that neck of the woods? What do they want the kids to do? These old cranky, one old cranky lady and her 2 animal
But are
friends.
these people created for this show? Because if they are, it doesn't make any sense, because I feel like we as the audience are supposed to know who they are and that they're bad, and then they're out of the movie immediately.
Well,
They're
not
out of the
really.
show.
They're sort of transformed into the
Yeah.
city cells.
Are they like their city doppelgangers?
Yes,
Like,
exactly
whoa,
that.
This
Yeah.
movie is TV, whatever this is so creepy. Because I thought at first, I was like, oh, is that like a weasel wearing a human mask? Because it looks great.
Even the kid says, look, that lady
Yeah.
looks like Lavender McGee and it looks like Bo Weasel. And
Yeah.
it's their exactly that. It's
so
their,
weird.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
go ahead.
So
Also, you have to go behind a waterfall to get to the Cabbage Patch thing.
It's so
I thought that
secretive.
was strange.
so secretive. A waterfall, and then you're in like the forest.
You're in
for
the
a hot
forest, and there's snow everywhere.
Everywhere.
Behind the waterfall, it's
Yeah.
summer year round.
minute. Yep, because that's how the cabbage grows, I guess.
Right.
The bad lady and her two animal friends want to get them. There's a constant chase. Of course, they're bad guys, good guys,
Right.
whatever. And the little Cabbage Patch Kids hide on top of a tree to hide from them. And that tree then gets cut down by two men who are going to take it into the city.
Yes.
So when they left the patch, they didn't know how they were going to get to the city. They didn't know which direction to go in. For a second, they were like the Wolverines out in Colorado. What are they going to do? Drink deer's blood? They're out there in the wilderness. What's going to happen to them? I don't know. I'll tell you what. They're just going to get magically transported into the city by riding a tree. And the people just cut down one tree. That's the
just
one tree.
Like,
Just
this
a
is
tree.
gonna be
And he
perfect.
says, "This is going to be great in the city." And he chops it down.
In the city, let's cut this down. They're in this tree, and did you see how hard the tree hits the trailer of that truck? It's like their limbs would be shattered, but they just pop out and they're like, I guess we're going to the city now.
They're so
Awesome.
excited. Free ride to the city. They're in. And right away we see the bad version of the city version of the bad guys. And they are pickpocketers.
They rob this dummy blind. These guys dig in both of his back pockets and his front pockets without him knowing at all. And they steal like bus tickets, all sorts of
But
stuff.
it's no cash, so they're like, "Meh, meh."
Yeah. And
Here's when we meet
Yeah.
our favorite couple, though. Our favorite couple. I guess the only couple. But Frank,
Right.
and I didn't catch her name. I just know she's always like, "Oh, Frank."
She's so sad. This poor woman is so sad.
They're watching the kids, the little Cabbage Patch Kids are trying to
Right.
cross busy, city traffic. And they're watching them, and she's like, "Oh, Frank, I wish we had children. What do those children do?"
Oh,
Well,
no.
that's when she looks at the one, she goes, "I wish we had children, especially one like her." She points
It's
to little red.
amazing. And also they seem to think that these children, I guess, have been abandoned, but are just like, well, here, we'll help you across the street.
Yeah.
Have a good day, I guess. They don't ask where their parents are.
No.
Nobody asks where the police don't even ask where these kids'
Because they
parents
clearly
are.
don't have parents. I guess maybe the people in Atlanta know of the land of the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Right, they're clearly
Maybe it's
walking
common knowledge.
dolls.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but this lady is practically in tears every time she sees
I
a
feel
child.
like she's had some like infertility issues, and
Oh, yeah.
they've definitely,
Yeah,
like you said,
And like I said, it's his fault. Like it's the guy's issue, because she's constantly bringing it up, and we don't
"Oh,
hear anything
Frank."
from him at all.
No,
Yep.
no. Mhm.
I like
And he-
later on when she says, "I thought going to the city to watch children celebrate Christmas would make me happy."
I don't know why Frank wasn't like, "That sounds so depressing. Let's go to Mexico.
This
What are we
is the
doing?
worst idea.
Let's take an
sit
island
around."
vacation.
Right,
We're not going to the city to watch children. We're going to sit and have some Mai Tais on the beach in
Yes,
Cancun. Let's go."
it's amazing. Oh man! Oh, so after they help them, this man, whoever his name is, whatever his name is,
Frank.
he drops his wallet,
Yes.
and that's the big thing. Is suddenly these pickpocketers, as though they've never seen a wallet in their lives, are like, we gotta get that dude's
And it's
wallet.
the only wallet in the city, I guess.
The only one. People everywhere. They just robbed a guy, and they need this wallet, and they're willing to kill Cabbage Patch Kids to get it.
They start to chase them. She doesn't want to kill them. She wants them just like the coal lady does. She wants them to be part of her like army and
it's like an
pickpocket
Oliver
with
Twist
them.
thing.
Yes,
Where she just wants to recruit children to pickpocket for her. And I guess I don't know why she thinks the Cabbage Patch Kids would be so good at this.
Because they're so little and cute, and they could put their little stubby hands into somebody's pocket and take their wallet without them even knowing.
I guess, but I also don't understand later on. They're like, you know what? We're going to hold Jenny hostage, and you're going to work for me. And I'm like, well, why don't you just adopt Jenny? Like, she could do it for you. She needs a home, but they seem to need these Cabbage Patch Kids.
Because it's really Lavender McGee from the Cabbage Patch Kid land.
But it's not.
But it is.
But it's not. And that's why I was so confused in this movie.
Yeah, I think you were overthinking the Cabbage Patch Kids.
No, I really was, because I was like, why did they say that lady looks like her? It is her. Anyway, whatever. I am overthinking this. They go to an orphanage for some reason.
They stumble upon, when they try to hide from the bad guys, they stumble into an orphanage. And there's one little girl in there, and they see her at first, what looks like she's having her own little Christmas. But then when the big reveal is
working there.
Nobody. They just left her in a hat rack. She's having Christmas with a hat rack she thinks is a tree, and she has a knee brace on. Like that's her.
Yeah,
she's different.
Brace. Yeah,
she's different. That's why she feels that she can't be adopted and shouldn't be at someone's house for the holidays.
Yes,
and she tells the kids that she's different and that she's sad and alone on Christmas, and then we get treated to a magical, wonderful Cabbage Patch Kids song.
Right. For 1 second, I went, oh, what a nice message they're telling this girl about. Everyone's different. And I was like, oh, no, they're singing.
Yeah, they're going to sing about it. They're going to sing about it. Everybody's Christmas. Everybody's year. Everywhere. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you if you just made that up or that was from this show. No idea. And they wreck up the playroom in this place, like you said. They decorate the hat rack like it's a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And then they bust her out of the orphanage.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna find you. They were like, hey, we know two adults that want a kid. We're gonna go find those two.
We know an incredibly sad woman.
Who just came here to look at children. So she'll definitely take you home.
She's perfect mother material. We don't see how this could go wrong in any way. I'm sure she'll be happy when you grow up and want to leave home.
Yeah.
She'll be able to deal with that.
Poor lady.
It's all right. In the end, she has a child who will never grow up and will always be her tiny Cabbage Patch Kid.
Yeah. With all her freckles. All 1,700
The
of them.
mood swings of our Cabbage Patch Kid friends at the end of that when they're like, we're so sad, but we're so happy for you.
They all have tears in their eyes, and then they're like, but just kidding, we're happy.
Just kidding. Then they're laughing with tears running down their face.
It's emotional when one leaves the patch.
No, I'm sure
it is. But she's leaving with good reason. She's going with another little girl.
Right. No, I got that.
You see?
I may have been confused about the bad guys, but I got the message.
Okay, but you got the message. Okay,
yeah,
just checking. I didn't know how much you needed spelled out for you.
One of my favorite lines or exchanges in this is when the little girl named Jenny, they ask her what her name is, and she's like, my name's Jenny. And then she goes, what's your name? Talking to the little bald one, and he goes, we're the Cabbage Patch Kids. I'm like, just tell her your name. She wasn't asking collectively what you things are called.
Well, you're going to go through all those names again. Come on, we learned them once at the beginning. We don't need another lineup.
I know.
There's like 7 of them.
There's way too many of them, and you don't need all of them to go here. This could have been an adventure with 2 of them.
You're like, let's limit it, all right?
Remember
leave
in
that
the
Hug-A-Bunch?
At home.
We had 3 in the Hug-A-Bunch. That was enough for a good adventure.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
That's more than enough. I gotta say, Hug-A-Bunch is way cuter than the Cabbage Patch Kids.
You think with those animatronic eyes? better?
Yeah.
All right, you'll take them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seemed, again, because they were puppets, they seemed like you would want to hold them. These things seemed too human. But not human.
Like an ape.
Like an ape.
I'm sensing a theme here with you.
People are hearing these episodes weeks apart. This is back to back, so apes are just on my mind.
It happens.
Yeah. So how about when they leave and they're looking for this family, the bad guys jump out of nowhere and grab them.
And shake them.
Shake them. They hold them by their ankles and shake them, and so much stuff falls out of these kids' pockets. They had so much
stuff in their pockets.
There's just like jacks and playing cards. It is
because when you think
insane.
about it, when you're a kid, I mean, as an adult, when I have pockets, I love it. But when you're a kid, stuffing things in your pockets is one of the greatest things. Don't you think?
I used to take Tic Tac containers. And once the Tic Tacs were gone, I would fill them with water, just as like tiny water bottles that I would have on my person.
Did you hydrate with them? Did you use them and like sip them? Oh, you psychopath!
Yeah, I would save them. It was a weird time.
But you liked your pockets. You kept them in your pockets.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
Of course. Yeah, and they only leaked all the time.
Yeah, because the closure on those isn't the greatest. They're sealed shut before you get a Tic Tac, and then once it's open, it's kind of
they're meant to hold
really
solid things that are the size of pills, not water.
Not liquids, yeah. Oy vey.
Yeah. All right. Well, they bite the guy's ankles to get out of this.
Oh yeah, that's how they get away from the bad guys.
Yeah, they bite their way to freedom, and then they go into a hotel called the Prince Albert Hotel.
That's correct.
And I was like, I wonder where this is. I looked it up. It's in Australia. Like they just used a name. And the couple is still walking around talking about not having a child.
She's so sad about it. She's so depressed. It's a theme for them. But the kids see that couple and they just miss them, right? They shout at them, "Hey, Mister!" Guy doesn't answer. You would think this couple that wants children so bad would be very attuned to any children in the room, but not so much.
These Cabbage Patch Kids are then thrown out of this hotel because this one guy's like, "Hey, we can't have kids running around the Prince Albert Hotel."
I don't know what just happened to your voice. But
that was his voice because it was the same voice as the guy who cut down the tree earlier.
Okay, fair enough.
They had limited voice actors for this, I believe. That's why the dad never says a word through this entire movie.
They had enough male voices. They could do Xavier and him do the same voice. Yeah.
They go to Piedmont Park.
Oh, yeah. This is when they get kicked out of the hotel and they go to Piedmont Park. And now they're just like homeless kids at the park.
It's so upsetting. They hide under a bridge for hours, like for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then they decide, well, what are we going to do? Let's just sleep under this bridge.
They have the little orphan Jenny with them.
Yes.
Because they're trying to...
Yes, she can probably freeze to death. I'm not sure that they can. But she could die, and... just like Atlanta's so cold. They're under a bridge, like I guess just sleeping on the frozen
like little homeless
river.
Babies. Yeah.
Jim Henson's homeless babies. And they really do like it is such a weird point in this movie to make, like, because they do say like, I'm so cold and I'm so hungry. I'm like, this is so upset. Just go back to the orphanage. Like, just take this poor girl back.
I know. Why did she leave? She wasn't being treated poorly there. She was just alone.
Right.
It looked like a nice place.
Yeah. I mean, I think Child Protective Services would come in and be like, listen, leaving your children alone
on a holiday
is treating them poorly.
All right. Fair enough. But she had a bed and everything, and they were happy to see her get adopted out. They didn't try to stop that at the end. Well, guess who's at the
only kid at this orphanage?
Because of her leg brace.
So every other kid in Atlanta was adopted except for her? Yeah. Oh, that's so sad.
Because she's got red hair, freckles, and a brace. Not easy being different.
It's not easy being Jenny.
No, you see? Jenny from the block. Who do you think would be at the park, P.S.? The pickpocketers, the bad guys.
Of course.
Are at the park.
Yep.
So, again, there's a little wild chase that happens where they see them and they want to get them, but then the cops see the pickpocketers, and they're like, those are the pickpocketers we're looking for. And the little orphan that escaped. Let's go get it all.
Right. I like how they're like, those pickpocketers, we've been trying to get them for so long. I was amazed. I was like, these are the dumbest criminals ever. How have you not caught them before today?
Right. It's an old lady and two old
lady
dudes. They've been following these kids
dummies.
around. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And a Bo Weasel. Maybe there was a show. I feel like that's why you knew who Bo Weasel was. There was a whole show where they were...
I don't know. Like, there had to have been. I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever. All right. We're moving on.
It doesn't matter.
We're moving on. We're 35 minutes into a 26-minute movie.
Right,
Thank you.
Yes.
So the police come, kind of save the day, right? Why does the couple there for?
Oh, I don't know.
Why do we get them back
just
with the couple?
there. Like, the couple's just there. Everything happens at once because the cops arrest these guys. The one cop scoops up Jenny because, I guess he sees the leg brace and he's like, well, this girl clearly can't walk. And he turns around, the couple's there, and he just hands her to these people.
Oh, yeah, because they were getting in the car across the street. And they're like, there they are.
Yes.
And then they're like, hey, this little girl needs to be adopted. And she's like, Frank.
She's like, oh, I want to adopt somebody. The cop just hands her over like, here you go.
And now they're all so happy. And Xavier Roberts comes to the police station to bring the kids back. Or maybe was it to the police station he goes or the children's home? No, it's the children's home where she's getting adopted out.
Yeah. And when you say, and I think we just glossed over it, when you say Xavier Roberts comes to take the Cabbage Patch Kids home, please, listeners, do not picture a middle-aged man. This is a boy that is slightly older than Jenny.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, oh, these kids, they're mine. I got them. Don't worry about it.
I'm going to take them back.
And the cops are like, great. Have a good time.
Right? Well, not until the one other... What is her name, the little redheaded one? The redheaded... I wrote it down. I'm going to look it up.
Oh my God.
Paula Louise.
Okay.
Is going to go home with Jenny. Because then they could be like real sisters. And as we've said, it's emotional time for the other Cabbage Patch Kids. They're so sad, but they're so happy for their friend who's going to get to live with Frank.
It's so
I'll call her
great
Susan.
Because this couple, this woman who desperately wanted a child, finally
now she's
has
got two.
one. And the girl's like, hey, you know who will adopt you? These people that just adopted me. And I wanted like a shot, like a tight shot of the dad just like rolling his eyes. But
like,
of course that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, yeah, we'll take this one too. We got him. We're set. Well, we're super happy. It's the greatest Christmas for them ever.
It is. Very Merry Christmas for them. And then the kids go back and they get to the day after Christmas. It's noted that it's not till the day after Christmas that Jenny's new parents send them a turkey and a Christmas tree to decorate. But I guess when you're a Cabbage Patch Kid, does it really matter? It's December 25th or the 26th. They have nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, did they visit the city on Christmas? Because of course it would be the day after Christmas then.
Oh, yeah. I guess they went into the city to catch the Christmas spirit on Christmas.
And by the time they got home, they were exhausted. They all went to bed that night. They were super sleepy. I love how the Cabbage Patch Kids try and make this stork eat a bird. They're like, "Hey, you should eat some of this." He's like, no, I'm good. I have things to do.
I'm not indulging in your turkeyness. Yeah,
right. Yes, I'm not turning into a cannibal quite yet. I'm just feeding a baby in a rocking chair. You know what storks do. This stork also looks like the Vlasic Pickles stork.
He does.
He looks just like he's dressed just like him.
I think it's a stork thing. I think it's just what storks wear and what they look like.
Okay. They all dress like mail carriers,
I think so.
Okay. Doesn't matter if you're delivering mail, pickles, or
babies. Or pickles. It's all the same. Storkland. They have a limited wardrobe and look overall. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and then they have a happy. Oh, a baby is born at Babyland General. A new baby comes and puts his little face, crawls up to that turkey and puts his little face right in it, and has like a gravy
baby
beard.
has like a gravy goatee at the end of this.
And then we just have a nice little message about how you're special, just like the Cabbage Patch Kids are special.
Well, I mean, the message is, whoa, we were at the city and we didn't even see the Christmas spirit.
Oh.
And the kid, Xavier Dolan's or whatever his name is like, you know what? You did see the Christmas spirit. It was in you the whole time, or some bullshit
magic.
like that.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Oh yeah, of course."
Yeah, it took them a minute because they're not used to that kind of thing around Cabbage Patch Land.
Yeah, I expected them to go. Then why did you tell us people going to the city to see the Christmas?
Yeah.
Spirit,
Why did we have
kid?
to get on a? Why did we have to do that whole adventure?
Yeah, if it's inside of all of us, why'd you make up that whole thing about going to the city?
Because they had
we wouldn't have done it.
They wouldn't have had little Jenny be adopted. They wouldn't have met that sad family. They would have just had a little tree and cheer at the cabin. And
I feel like
they do that every day.
It wasn't that like the mission of the Care Bears. Wasn't the mission of the Care Bears like to go down and to like find sad children and make them feel better about things?
They care.
Wasn't that what the Care Bears did?
Kind of,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm just wondering if this was a TV show, which you said you did research and didn't read anything about it.
It didn't come up. No. What I did in my research, this was another little I'll put it out there. So
just a gem. Just a gem you got coming our way.
Just going to drop this nugget. So the creator, the Cabbage Patch Kids, obviously it took off, right? He also did something called the Fur Skin Bear. And
whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
That does not sound like a child's toy.
Oh,
that sounds like the first introduction to what a furry is. Like,
exactly. I think when I read the name alone, I was like, I've never heard of this, and I think I know why. It does sound pretty cute, though. It's like these country-inspired bears. It's like these bears that are all like from the country, and they have
like Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, exactly. Pretty cute, but the fur skins, he could have thought of a better name.
You shouldn't
I don't
call
think
anything
it was.
a first. I'm sure there are fur skin conventions that happen that you don't want to take your children to.
No, it's not the thing that you want to tune in on Saturday morning to. But yeah, I can't. There was a cereal. I know there was a Cabbage Patch Kid cereal.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
sure
know.
there was a Cabbage Patch Kid everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have a hit on your hands, you make that money while you can. So I'm glad to know that. Did you hear
Rumbling.
that?
Yeah, I did.
Is there a dog down here with me? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway.
You would see it, no?
I would have heard it come down. I would have seen it come after me.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
well,
that's it. Is that all we got?
Yeah, that's it.
It feels weird. Like, it feels weird doing something this short.
Well, it did, but we managed to make it 20 minutes longer than it needed to be.
Somehow we did it. We made it.
But I love that. And that is the Cabbage Patch. That's their first and only Christmas that we
first
get
and
to
only
see.
Christmas. I think it said 85. I don't think they did any other Christmas specials after this.
Mm-mm.
The animation was bad. It just, I don't know. This was not an enjoyable experience.
No,
to me.
No, for me it wasn't even. I mean, it was fun to watch in the sense of like, oh my God, I remember this.
Yeah.
This was But it wasn't even like, oh, I remember loving it. I watched it and was like, oh my God, this was one of those things that I guess as a kid of the 80s, you were brainwashed, but because it's not good. Like, even the story isn't that good or cute or so.
But if something's on TV, you just watch it. Like,
well, and especially when, like I said, you were kind of brainwashed by thinking Cabbage Patch Kids, and this was just part of that whole thing. It's like the American Girl thing you brought up earlier. Like, your girls, like, they want to go to that shop where you can sit and eat with an American Girl or whatever you do there and dress her. Like, you're just in it. You're in the Cabbage Patch land.
Yes.
I guess. Or in the Cabbage Patch mindset.
Yeah. It's difficult to look back or to go back and just say, like, why did I enjoy this? Well, because you're a kid and you don't know any better. And it's a thing. Like, I have gone back and I've tried to watch, I tried to watch an episode of G.I. Joe. It was the most boring thing I've ever watched. I was like, how could I sit and stare at the television for this long?
You loved it. Would you have your girls watch this? Would you have your daughters watch this?
I don't think they... Oh, my youngest walked in on me watching it. And she was staring at it and she goes, what's this? And it wasn't enough to even keep her attention.
She couldn't. And I've seen what keeps her attention. So
yeah, I was like, oh, I'm just
Minnie
watching
Mouse
this.
one?
Yeah,
Or
I was
Mickey
more
Mouse
than
with a...
happy for her to hang out with me. Like, I was like, oh, I'm just watching this for a thing. It was near the end. And she just stared for 5 more seconds and then walked away. That was it.
It wasn't her jam.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, Merry Christmas, everyone. That was Cabbage Patch Kids.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
It is Christmas Eve. Have a great Christmas tomorrow. And think about the Cabbage Patch Kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. All right. Everybody, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we will see you with our next episode in just a few days. She's out of control. Tony Danza.
Coming at you. Coming at you.
See you guys.
Happy holidays.
Frank! Those children! If they step into traffic, they'll be hurt.
Hold our hands, kids.
Where are you taking us, mister?
Out of this traffic!
That's okay with us. Thanks, lady. Thanks, mister. Thanks, lady.
You poor children. You look so frightened. You're white as a sheet.
I hope it didn't scare my freckles off.
Aren't they sweet? Oh, Frank, I wish we had children, especially one like her. It's so lonely at Christmas without children.
Here, dear.
Hey, the man dropped something.
Look, a wallet with a pile of money in it. Ow!
Serves you right. It isn't yours. We're gonna give it back to the man.